Her fear spiking, she froze and stumbled a full turn. A large man held Sophia by her ponytail, a gun pointed to her head. Her daughter cried out again and tried to pull away, but he held her easily. "Let her go!" Sophia moved toward them, her only thought to get her child away from the man. He moved the weapon so it pointed at Zoe, his finger tightening on the trigger. A cruel smile tilted his thin lips upward. "Baba." Zoe shook, somehow made her legs work, and ducked behind the wheelbarrow just as a loud crack splintered the air. Sophia screamed, a high-pitched, ear-piercing wail full of terror. Zoe's legs gave out, and she hit the ground hard. She tried to think, but the horror sweeping over her wouldn't let her. She had to get to Sophia. She had to get her child back. "Stop, you moron! Don't shoot her!" Zoe's breath came in pants, her terror lessening a fraction as relief filled her. Someone had come. She nearly sobbed. She forced her legs to stand, to take a step toward the man who still held a crying Sophia. He kept the gun held on Zoe, but glanced at the other man who'd stepped from inside the house, cell phone pressed to his ear. "Don't shoot her!" Relief fled, and fear gripped her again. What was the second man doing in her house? She headed to Sophia, who continued to struggle in spite of the pain inflicted by the man's hold on her hair. With his other hand, he aimed the weapon at Zoe, but didn't pull the trigger, his gaze still darting between her and the man behind her. When she was 2 steps from Sophia, her daughter's eyes widened and her attention focused behind her. Zoe turned to look over her shoulder, saw a flash of movement. Before she had time to think, something crashed into the side of her forehead. Pain exploded through her skull, and she fell to the ground. Aaron Starke stepped up to the counter and took the 2 prescription bags from Lucille Andrews, the pharmacist for the Wrangler's Corner Pharmacy. "Thanks." "No problem. Hope your mom feels better fast." "It's just an ear infection. She should be fine in a day or so." "And thanks for taking that out to Zoe. I know she'll appreciate it." "Happy to do it. See you later." He headed back to his truck and tossed the bags onto the passenger seat. One for his mother, and one for the pretty single mom he couldn't seem to get out of his head, although he really needed to. Well, he was going out to the farm anyway to check on the pregnant heifer. Taking the prescription was only being neighborly, nothing else. Right? Right. 10 minutes later, he turned into the Updike's drive and followed it up to the main house. A large 4-bedroom home, it looked lived in and loved, with Thanksgiving decorations hung on the door and a small flag with the words, "Thankful for blessings," stuck in the ground. He figured that was Zoe's doing. He didn't remember Martha Updike bothering with that kind of thing. Aaron coasted to a stop at the top of the drive. An old pickup truck sat in front of him. He'd never seen it before, and knew Zoe didn't drive it. She had a Jeep Wrangler. Maybe she had family visiting? Then he noticed the open barn door and frowned. Why would Zoe have the door open when the temperatures were already dropping and were supposed to hit record colds tonight? He climbed out of the truck and pulled his heavy down coat tighter against his throat. He shoved his hands into his gloves and settled his hat more firmly on his head. Snowflakes drifted down, littering the ground that was already starting to turn white. Aaron tromped across the few remaining dried twigs that would be green grass come springtime and knocked on the door. "Zoe? You in there? Sophia? It's Aaron Starke." He peered inside, and all the animals looked well taken care of, with fresh water in their buckets and clean stalls. Aaron walked down to the office and unlocked it. He placed Sophia's medication on the desk, left the office, and locked it behind him. His next stop was to check on Lily, the pregnant cow. She'd been brought in out of the cold and now stood in one of the horse stalls, looking fat and ready to get the whole thing over with. He checked her and found the calf had turned. "Well, that's good news," he told her, and gave her bulging belly a light pat. He cleaned up in the large barn sink, then decided to check on Zoe. He thought it strange she hadn't come out to at least say hi and ask about the cow. She had all the other times he'd been by. And every time he'd seen her and talked to her, he'd wound up leaving with her on his mind, where she stayed, constantly. He'd learned a few things about her. She loved